know what? Ghostwriting is such a mystery. And so I decided that I've got to do this video to address the top 10 common questions that I get on a consistent basis. My name is Lynette Renee Doby, and I'm an Amazon bestselling ghostwriter, and I am here to help my clients, anyone with a message, high-performing entrepreneurs, influencers, business owners, founders, athletes, anyone with a message. I am here to help you get into the 1% because 99% of people do not complete their book. We got to do something about that. So that is what I'm here for. In this video, I will be talking about all the things that you've probably wondered and you've never really met a ghostwriter to ask them these questions. I'm going to answer them for you. So if this seems like something you're interested in, go ahead and press like for the video. And also in general, this channel talks about all things professional writing, authorship, entrepreneurship. And I'll throw in some wellness from here to there because you can't do your entrepreneurship thing or be a writer if you're not well, if you're not physically and mentally in tune. If this sounds of interest to you, then go ahead and subscribe to this channel and go ahead and hit the bell notification button so every time I do an upload, you will be informed. I'll go ahead and give you a second to get that done. All right, so thank you very much for that. So let's start with our first question. What exactly does a ghostwriter do? So a ghostwriter can work in so many different industries and so many different genres. But in this case, I'm going to keep it germane to manuscripts. So a ghostwriter will write a manuscript for you and they don't get any of the credit for it. So essentially, once the manuscript is done, it's then turned into a book and published. And only the author is recognized for that work. Unless it's a co-authorship, then the ghostwriter's name will be aligned with the author's name on the cover of the book. But if it's not the case, then that's 100% on the author. And the ghostwriter just simply is there to provide a service. Next, how much does it cost to hire a ghostwriter for a nonfiction book? This is a question I would say of all the ones that I get asked this the most. And I'm going to tell you, it varies. It varies on the ghostwriter's experience. It varies on your topic and how much research it entails. There's so many variables, but just to give you a ballpark information, just some numbers so you'll understand. I would say it starts off with $30,000 all the way up to $500,000, then to millions for your upper echelon of ghostwriting and for depending on who the client is. So that should arm you with a pretty good range of understanding. And you also, for honorable mention, if you want to do a family book, there are ghostwriters who only specialize in writing your story in terms of your family and things of that nature. They charge about $3,000 to $5,000. So that's why finding the best ghostwriter for you is of critical importance. Next, how long does it take to ghostwrite a book? So that's all contingent upon, once again, the nature of the content of the book, how much research is involved. Like, for instance, I just finished a book this past September. We began working on it last year. She had a little bit of a dense subject matter, and it took me a little while to research and to find my footing in accordance with her story and also her industry. So it took a little bit longer. Let's say you have a simplistic title, something that's not that entailed. It still makes sense to give yourself the grace of 6 to 8 months. That's my recommendation. I know some people who write a book in 4 months. I guess it's really dependent upon how soon the material needs to be released and if the person has an upcoming, press tour that they're going on. All those factors kind of play into how quickly or how long, I should say, it takes for the book to be completed. Who owns the rights to the book is the next question. Very important question. So ghostwriting is a highly skilled and highly sophisticated practice. And so with opportunities like this, it's important that the client and the ghostwriter are on the same page. And the way that you do this is by having a very thought out and mutually agreed upon contract or agreement. Within the agreement, 9 times out of 10, given the nature of what ghostwriting is, all of the rights go to the author, the person who has employed the ghostwriter. Now, this is not set in stone, and it is subject to your individual circumstance. But 9 times out of 10, you, the author, reserve all the rights to your book. Will my ghostwriter help with publishing is the next question. And that, again, depends on what the ghostwriter specializes in. I help only with creating and developing the manuscript. When it comes to publishing, there are other different companies out there who can help you, get into that 1% with regards to the publishing part of it, but I help you get there with the manuscript. And I do have a relationship with a publisher that I trust, so I send my clients to him. But that's a very good, important factor that you would want to discuss with a prospective ghostwriter. All right, we are at number 6 already. Can my ghostwriter guarantee that my book will be a bestseller? And the answer is simply put, no. There are so many other factors into making a book a bestseller. It's all contingent upon how much marketing is done. Have you gotten with a marketing company that's gotten you podcast interviews, that's gotten you radio spots, blog write-ups, periodical write-ups? Have you done that due diligence in hiring them? If not, it will detract from how successful your book is. I have never guaranteed bestseller status to anyone, even though this last book that I wrote was a bestseller. What I did tell her is that she would have a fully written manuscript that would justify not only her investment, but would do justice to her story and also her industry. And that's what she got. The Amazon bestseller in print, not digital, in print sales. It was just an added bonus to the whole experience for her and for me as well. But I told her her book was going to be everything, and it was. Number 7, how is the confidentiality of the ghostwriting project ensured? Again, it's all about having the proper paperwork in place. For this specifically, as it relates to confidentiality, it's all about the NDA. I have an NDA that I use with my clients, and also before I even get into our project blueprint meeting, and that's where we go over the actual outline of the book, I have my clients sign an NDA. It's a way to protect them and protect me. And I don't know why so many people have a bad reaction to NDAs when they are crucial for the work that we do and that I do. Because for instance, when I have a client sign an NDA with me, whatever we talk about in our one-on-one time with regard to the content of the book, it stays in the meeting. I'm not sharing that with anybody else. And likewise, when they notice how I handle their book project and how I use my trade secrets, I need the assurance that they won't share it with other people as well. So that is how it's a mutually beneficial document, and it helps just strengthen the relationship between the author and the ghostwriter. Number 8, how does the ghostwriter properly capture my voice and style? Oh, this is my favorite part. I must admit, I learned this from when I went to grad school to be a professional actor. I mentioned it in some other videos, but that's what I was originally until I decided to, take my storytelling and put it on paper. But what's super cool is that we were taught how to build a character, because you can't become someone else, but you can deliver their likeness and make it realistic. And so that's the same thing I do with ghostwriting. I interview my clients. I listen to the way that they speak. So it's not all about how they write, it's the way that they speak. I listen to certain words that they use frequently. I listen to the tonality in their words. Is it assertive? Is it aggressive? Is it sweet? Is it meek? I listen to all these different factors. And over time, I'm able to produce content that expresses certain things the way that they would. And so it's super cool. And the biggest compliment to our work, well, certainly it is for me, is if I'm working with someone and I give them a chapter to review and they're like, wow, Lynette, that sounds like me. I'm like, yes. And conversely, they can also say, I like the way you worded this, but you know what? I would say it with a little bit more, And that's great, because we need that feedback so we can make it perfect. If as close to perfect as it can be, because sometimes perfection can be a myth. But that's how you marry those two elements, your ability and their voice and their preferences and their method of speaking and style and writing, and you have a cohesive product. Oh, it's so exciting. Number 9, what happens if I'm not satisfied with the work? Which is a possibility, it can happen. And so built within the production process of creating the manuscript, or the book's manuscript, the writer and author will come up with a schedule to make sure that they remain on the same page of the production of each chapter or each section of the book. And what that looks like is, let's say I interview my client and I have all the notes that I need for the content, and I type up a draft of a chapter. I present it to the client and I give them about 3 to 5 business days to review what I've written, and they'll take some notes electronically, or some people like to print out the manuscript chapter and then they'll redline it. But however it happens, they give me the notes, they create notes, and then they give me the notes, and then I review them and make applicable changes. And so I do this until the client is satisfied. And normally it takes about 2 rounds of revisions, but if there's a particularly difficult chapter, it may take a little bit longer, but it's to be understood. So that is, again, it's outlined in the agreement and the contract. And if there's any question or misunderstanding about that, 9 times out of 10, the process will not be as effective or efficient, because you've got to make sure that you're on the same page with one another so you can create a successful product. And finally, number 10, do I need to provide anything specific to the ghostwriter? Yes, you do. You need to provide your openness, your flexibility, your dedication, and your understanding of the process. Ghostwriting is just that, it's a process. Remember when we talked about how long it would take for the project to be completed? Anywhere from 6-8 months to a year plus. So you want to make sure that you're in it for the long haul. Like my former client, the one I just wrote a book for, she and I are in contact still because we spent so much time with each other on a weekly basis creating all of this content. So that's what you can do. Be the best client, or bring the best version of yourself that you can to every single situation. It makes for a better project, it makes for a better product, and it can help you create a relationship that can last for beyond the pages of the book and producing it. So that is about it. I hope that you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. I love answering these questions, so that way you have a full picture of what it is that you're getting yourself into and what it entails producing and creating a book. If you want to take the conversation further, like if you have a project that's been pulling at you for a while and it's time to birth it and get it out in 2025, then go to www.rightwayconsulting.net and send me an inquiry. And once you do that, you'll get a form back that just asks you some basic questions to ensure that you are indeed ready to work with a ghostwriter and to make sure that I am the best ghostwriter for you. Once again, you're going to go to www.rightwayconsulting.net and fill out that inquiry form. If this video has been good for you and you got some value out of it, then share it within your network. I know you got a couple of different friends who've been talking about getting their book done for X amount of weeks, years, whatever. Just tell them, hey, I think this might be beneficial to you. Just share it to them and I would greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't already done so, please like, subscribe, and also turn on that bell notification. And also leave me a comment. Tell me what you liked about the video. I'm always trying to make sure that I help you all out because that is my intention. All right, that's it for now, and I will see you in the next upload.